I said, well, why can't dragons have detachable jaws? So in the scene where he swallows Bowen, before he goes to swallow him, you see the pins push out and the jaw distends, so you could justify having a smaller head. And Phil and I finally set Draco at 18 feet high and 43 feet long with a 72.3 foot long wingspan.
Rob wanted two huge fangs for some of the scenes, particularly the scene where they have their standoff. So the retractable teeth were not so much a problem. More a problem for us were these other, interlocking teeth. How you make something with these big, chompers.
Things kept falling in, working, and looking at the consequences of any given physical decision. I wanted him to be like a Swiss Army knife. I wanted him to have a resting tail and a fighting tail. I felt Draco needed to use his hands, so he had to have feet and hands, not just have his wings and feet. So Nature is a master designer. With the help of Phil Tippett and Stephen Price, our first visual effects supervisor, I was able to get my dragon put together in a way that I thought was very successful, unique, and ultimately functioned well to be the first computer graphic actor.
Rob had requested a posable maquette, so in addition to the 5-foot model that we sent along for a lighting reference, there was another, like a stop motion model. It had an articulate skeleton in it that you could bend, and it was taken from the design maquette and cast up in a rubber material that would allow him to pose it, so he could imagine the model, with its tail curled around, or its wings unfolded, or its head looking back the other direction. That helped explain, to the crew what he was looking for.
It's one thing to design a dragon. It's another thing to give it a personality. To give it a personality, I felt it was very important that the personality be derived from the actor that was going to play the voice.
Haven't you noticed the pickings are rather slim these days?
I got me one just the other day.
So it was you who killed the scarred one?
For me, there were two choices for the voice, Sean Connery and Sean Connery. And it never entered my mind that it could be anyone else but Sean. He seemed to me to have not only a unique voice, instantly recognizable, but it's what he stood for in life as an actor and as a man that most related to what I had hoped for Draco.
Yes, my half-heart that cost me all of my soul. Even then, I knew his bloodthirsty nature, but I thought my heart could change him. My God, I was so naive.
No more than I. All my life I've dreamed of serving noble kings, noble ideals.
I was so impressed when I met Dennis. When he left the room, I turned to Rafaela De Laurentiis, the producer, and I said, he is a knight of the old code.
I am a knight of the old code. My word is my bond.
And I said, he's handsome, he's obviously intelligent and fun to work with. I really think he's Bowen.
Yeah, I did a lot of training on this movie. I had to do a lot of sword fighting. So I worked with a Japanese sword master. His name was Kiyoshi Yamasaki. And because I wanted him to have an Eastern flavor, and Rob did too. And so they've learned a lot about samurai swords, and the armor that I'm wearing in this film is very Eastern. There's a touch of it there.
Like a pudding.
Dina Meyer was a second person we interviewed of 200 young women to play Kara. Kara is a difficult role in the sense that not only is she the moral conscience of the picture, she's supposed to be a peasant. Now, a lot of women today are very beautiful, but they are very thin, fragile. They wouldn't have made it past 1 year old in the dark ages. And I needed somebody who was strong, and I needed somebody who could, in the end, handle herself with these double Viking axes and look believable.
I think he brought out a really a much richer performance out of my character, because he knew what was going on in every scene so well. You know, he knew exactly what the dragon was thinking, what Bone would be thinking, the weather, every little nuance he knew, and I think it was really helpful to me as an actor. It's always good to work with a director that knows what they're doing.
Pete Postlethwaite I'd seen in Name of the Father. He had received an Academy Award nomination. No one knew if he could do comedy, but I felt that anybody who was that assured in a dramatic role could take Brother Gilbert and make it real, make it charmingly funny, if not. I didn't want a buffoon, I didn't want a goofball. I wanted, but I wanted an energetic and very strong presence.
Turn the other cheek, brother.
David Thewlis I'd seen in the film Naked, the Mike Leigh picture, which was so absolutely unabashedly, brutally strong and honest. He played an evil and amoral character with such aplomb and such abandon that it took my breath away. He won Best Actor at Cannes for that film, so he was my idea for Einan, because I thought what makes a villain scary is the brain, not the brawn.
I'm playing a symbol, I'm playing a representative metaphor of a character, and so really it's trying to find where to pitch the performance, because you're playing against an 80-foot dragon with the voice of Sean Connery, and and everything's just bigger, so your performance is bigger, but that's exactly what makes it fun.
And because of him, we got Julie Christie. They share the same agent, David Thewlis and Julie Christie, and so when the agent said to her, "Here's a script, you would play David Thewlis's mother," Julie, who's not worked in an American picture, I think, in 15 years, got interested.
Forgive me.
I know why you brought me the Dragon Slayers. You wanted them to kill him because you wanted me dead.
I wanted to correct a mistake made years ago when I saved a creature not worth saving.
I needed a voice for the presence of King Arthur, and you look at the world of great voices, and you have to list on any list, whether it's 2 voices or 3 voices, one of them has to be Sir John Gielgud.
A knight is sworn to valor.
A knight is sworn to valor.
His heart knows only virtue.
His heart knows only virtue.
His blade defends the helpless.
His blade defends the helpless.
His might upholds the weak.
His might upholds the weak.
His word speaks only truth.
His word speaks only truth.
His wrath undoes the wicked.
His wrath undoes the wicked.
So once we found the locations, which we did in Slovakia, former Czechoslovakia, we came back and we started rewriting, working on the script to make it match where we were really going to do the film and all that. And, the process of rewrite was sort of like on every movie. You just keep rewriting until, a few days before you start shooting. And basically then we started production in July of '94.
Well, what can we say? We're hot. A hot movie. There are some collaborators that you find when you make a movie that you say, these are my collaborators. This is a team. We are going to be a movie-making machine. And I have been very blessed by the contributing talents